Hello, beauties. And I haven't done a live stream in a fair while. I'm just going to share this. Okay. Just give me a love heart or a thumbs up or a little comment if you can hear me okay and I'm coming through. Awesome. Hey, Jack. How are you? Beautiful. Where else am I going to share this? Hey, Age. All right. Give me a second. See, this is why I need a virtual assistant to help me do posting in my different groups and pages. Okay. All right. I think I'm sorted. That's my only commitment to that. So I just want to take a moment to share a breath with you. It has been a pretty intense last month, kind of anchoring in these very cosmic conspiratory energies. So, you know, we had all the different retrogrades and then the eclipses as well. So I just want to create a space and to allow us all to have a moment to drop in, and myself particularly, for what I want to share this evening. My sage burning just set a pretty powerful intention this evening, and doing my very mystical, magical spell work to protect the space of what I'm here to bring through. So just encourage you for a moment to close your eyes, relax your shoulders, soften your jaw and your tongue, and allow yourself to really be present in your body, taking a deep breath down into the belly, into the diaphragm. Making some noise if you choose to. Deep breath sound helps to, move energy through, particularly stagnant energy. And just allowing yourself to be here now and be present in your body and present in the space that you're at and present in this moment that we're sharing together. Even though it's in this digital space, we're still sharing this space and time together this evening. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to honor that because I know we all have busy lives and have, much that we process and move through and that we're integrating. And I just really want to create that space to honor that because, you're on your journey and you're here and you're doing an awesome job. Yeah, you're doing an awesome job at showing up and being you despite all the intensities that have been surrounding us lately. So if you are a sensitive person, particularly if you're a water sign, you probably would have felt it in these last couple of weeks. I know that I did. If you've looked at, I don't know how many posts ago it was, one of my big breakdowns to break through, there's definitely been a lot kind of bubbling up to the surface and having this, big energetic purge. So I want to share tonight something that I've really been sitting with and processing, and this is particularly pertinent and relevant to those of you that are deep feelers, that are intuitive, that connect with the spiritual and energetic realms of life. Yeah. And that is also kind of connecting with the responsibility to be mindful of your thoughts and what you're creating in the world and how you're showing up in the world, which is why I've titled this live stream, Who Do You Think You Are? And if you are a sensitive person, if you're a little bit mystical and magical or, kind of open to the spiritual dimensions or really deeply connected to the earth and walking gently on the earth and being really conscious of yourself, you would have probably found that throughout your journey in life, you've probably had people say that to you, like, who do you think you are? You know, that you're, maybe it's been in a very condescending way to kind of put you into a box or put you into place. And I kind of want to expand that, that little phrase out to kind of extract the wisdom that is within it, because a lot of the time we get slung words or phrases at us which have been flipped from the original narrative and the energetic imprint of what they actually stand for to be reminders. Yeah, there's so many times that that flip has been created in such a negative way that we turn away in shame from certain things, or we turn away from ourselves and who we are authentically and what brings us joy in just being our weird and wonderful selves, because we want to connect and we want to be relatable to people, particularly close friends and family. And if you're like me and you grew up in a relatively small town compared to larger cities, growing up in that rural setting, then those kind of negative twists on these phrases are definitely going to be prevalent throughout your upbringing. So just want to focus on that phrase. Who do you think you are? Yeah. And when you tune into that, when you understand and when you connect with and embody your power as a conscious creator, and you know and also experience the fact that your thoughts help to create your external reality, then who do you think you are has so much more power in it, rather than being an insult or a condescending term to kind of put you in your place, or to trim or clip your wings because you don't want to rise too high, or to be too good or be too different or set yourself amongst the crowd. So I started really feeling into this today, and what I wanted to share with you was feeling into that, like tuning into whatever your internal narrative is of who you think you are. Because ultimately, who you think you are is right. Yeah. But I want to share with you, it's changeable. You have the ability to constantly shift and change and evolve. And when you know better, you do better. Yeah. And when you have different experiences and insights, then you shift and you adjust. And when it comes to mystical experiences or initiations, you will be going through death and rebirth, through that catharsis cycle. And everything that you thought you knew about yourself up until this moment of time shifts and changes. And it can be quite unnerving when you go through that process, and it's something that I'm totally fluent in. It's like one of my realms of mastery is catharsis and emotional resilience, and moving through the shedding of skins and embracing the new energetic vibration or frequency of myself, or, that evolution of who I am in my relation to other people and the environment and what's called of me. So I want to share that with, well, who do you think you are? You have the power to create your own image. And what I mean by that image is not solely, the physical appearance. It's you actually have the ability to paint yourself, to write yourself into existence, into the person that you want to be, that you truly are, when you learn how to listen and you actually remember. And that's the key here, is creating the spaces and the opportunity and believing that you can do it, to listen to what your soul is telling you that you are in that essence, and connecting with that. Now, there will be a process where sometimes you'll resist that, where it's maybe a little bit different. Maybe it's so completely far-fetched from where you are now to, you might have this feeling of where you're going or who you're meant to be in the world with respects to how you carry yourself and how you share of yourself. And maybe there's a little bit of a gap. And this can take the wind out of your sails when you kind of start this process of dreaming yourself into being. And what I want to share with that is when you come back into the simplicity of who do you think you are, every single day you get to check in and you get to write those statements down, because your thoughts create your reality. The more you focus on it, the more that you are going to create action and alignment to that ultimate embodiment of yourself. Now, so for those of you that have been following me for a while, you know that I anchor to the archetypal energy of the wise woman. That is, from my understanding and the way that I picture it, the ultimate embodiment of myself. Like if I was to completely live my highest potential, my truth and my beauty and my magic and my mystery and all my weird and wonderful ways, and I picture myself as an elder or an ancestor that has lived through those different lifetimes and all of the different changes within that, that's the archetypal energy that totally sings to me. It resonates with me. Yeah? And whenever I go through a challenging process, whenever I seek guidance, I turn within and I ask my wise woman self and I call to her. Yeah, so it's like kind of walking different timelines to give me the information that I need to help me move towards her, because that's what I'm aligned to. Yeah. So who do you think you are becomes totally relevant to that. If I thought that, you know, I was just, I don't even know, too tired to think of an analogy or something. But, you know, if I thought that I was just but if I was the local tuck shop lady or the lollipop lady, you remember the lollipop ladies from school that had the big stop sign to help the kids cross the street? If that's who I thought I was, then that's what I would be aligned to. So I always encourage people to really dream big and dream yourself into being, and that you get to discover and explore yourself along the path. And you might find that, you know, as you're walking and you're creating that steps of who you think you are, and you're creating yourself and you're formulating these beliefs until your external reality catches up. As you journey and you evolve and you change, your values might shift, your beliefs might shift. And so it's really important to keep checking in with yourself and who do you think you are, so that you're constantly aligning to the highest path and potential of yourself. And only you know who you are. Only you have the ability to remember that. And what I want to share this evening specifically is having the courage to explore that, or completely embodying the permission that you need, that you give to yourself to do what you need to do to embody that in yourself, and to keep checking in. It is a daily practice. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Yeah. So that's something that I was really processing today. And it was like, you know, like when you have these insights and it's like this little kind of pin, well, I don't know, this is how I experience this little kind of pin drops, and it's like you can hear it from afar, but it's like so subtle. The epiphany, it's like, wow, you know, that it just becomes so real and actualized in the moment that you might think like, how did I never like pick up on this before? And so if you have like totally seen it in that perspective before, then bravo to you. That's awesome. But I'm sharing this because it was a new revelation for me today, something that I was processing, you know, just at home. And the more and more I kind of sit with that and journey with it, and also like stepping into my personal journey of empowerment and stepping into leadership roles. And, you know, this has been a big journey for me for many, many years. And I'm still evolving on that path, and I do it to the best of my ability and keep it, you know, totally real and grounded, while still sharing value and sharing insights and wisdom that has changed my life in really profound and dramatic ways. And I always will do my best to serve and to give of myself generously in that way, because that's part of who I think I am. And it's part of my purpose work here, my soul's purpose work here. And what I've found just recently is even kind of working towards my journey of like moving through resistance into the who you think you are. And being in Australia, you know, we also have that tall poppy syndrome thing. And there's a lot of different stacked layers of limiting beliefs that as you journey in creating yourself and being the person who you choose to be, that you remember on that soul level, there is a process to moving through thought patterns, behaviors, beliefs that don't serve you. A lot of the time this is stemmed in our childhood. It's what we pick up from our sensory environment, but it can also be passed on through our ancestral lineages, whether it's through the maternal or the paternal lines. And you begin to see these narratives and stories, or if we call a spade, these lies that have been passed on for generations to allow the sense of community and relation, to keep things relative. But as we change and society changes and we grow and evolve, we know that now we're in a very different time of experience to, our grandparents or our great-grandparents. And so it's really important that as you're doing this work and you're checking in with yourself, who do I think I am? What am I aligned to? That you're also doing that inner work to unhook from those narratives, which ultimately were set up to keep people safe, but they're not relative for you anymore. And they can be a little bit tricky sometimes to identify and to let go of, and also to allow yourself to have that freedom of choice to step outside of that, to step outside of the confines of story and structure within your family narrative. And that's been a really huge journey of mine, and something that I see prevalent in a lot of transformational healing journey work that I facilitate, whether that's in, one-on-one mentoring or group programs, or the, live workshops and stuff that I do, or the womb temples and the circles. It's definitely this prevalent theme that comes through, that I feel that when we embody this path of spirituality, and in my opinion and experience, being spiritual is just, it's simply being real, like claiming sovereignty, like who you actually are in your soul essence and being and your presence, and walking that path clearly, being grounded on the earth. It's not just totally out there. I mean, those etheric and esoteric dimensions do play a part, and they can be totally beautiful to allow you to connect with and extract information from that realm or from the earth as well. But fundamentally that spirituality is just being really real. And a lot of that is to do with letting go of those limiting beliefs and stories, and that's particularly relevant to who do you think you are, and to moving into that and allowing yourself to move beyond the confines of that, even when it's unnerving and it feels really uncomfortable, and you probably do think like, oh, well, who do I think I am to even be able to do this, or to question, or to think that I can even succeed in, whatever it is that you're moving towards in this lifetime. But I want to share something with you, and this is kind of pertinent to the themes of success. And I'm not speaking to success just in the confines of business, right? To some of you, that's your journey that you're on. But success is the embodiment of you when you are in the fulfillment of your dreams and desires and goals, of what you're working towards. That when you wake up and you feel content with yourself and at peace with how you share of yourself and how you give of yourself, that's success. It doesn't have to be this arbitrary thing or this abstract thing that's like not attainable. Success for you could be waking up in the morning and still being alive. Like, it is totally relative to each individual experience. But when we kind of journey into the realms of success and whatever it is that you're working on towards, that you're, journeying to be successful, there is a pathway of initiation to it. There is medicine to be garnered and extracted from the experiences that you have. And it's almost like the way that I experience it is this process of initiation, and that there is challenge. Yeah, because you're growing and you're evolving, and sometimes that's a little bit painful, and sometimes that means that you have to break free of the shackles of your limiting beliefs, of your past, of the shame and the guilt that might have trapped you from who you were however many years ago that you're not now, and choosing to create yourself in the image and the likeness that is connected to divine love, light and truth, and all the beauty and goodness and kindness in the world that you seek to emulate. Going on that journey of success, where people can get stuck, and I know myself that I have been, trapped a few times, is feeling like I've got to go it alone, and that nobody understands what I'm going through, and like, not the woe is me, but it's like, my problems or my issues, which are all in here, nobody's going to get because I'm different, and my specific experience is unique to me. And this is the power and the medicine of storytelling and connecting with other people, is because the more that you share of yourself, the more that you realize that we have so much more in common with each other than we do our differences. And when we actually have the courage and the strength to connect with one another and to share from the heart, that's when we kind of move towards the embodiment, the success, whatever it is that we're working towards, in a much quicker and clearer way. Because it is a hard slog when you feel like, you're dragging shit up a hill sometimes, and you're like, this is so challenging, and why can't I break through this, and why do I keep repeating this pattern, blah, 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 like, it gets pretty wild and intense sometimes. And even in like when you're connecting with, who do you think you are, and you're creating that into yourself, what's really beautiful to dream into being and to connect and to call in is that community and that connection to other people. Yeah, because that is a fundamental need for all human beings, is that need to belong, and that sense of belonging, that sense of home, which comes from community. And what I see in contemporary society, which is becoming a problem, is that more and more people are disconnected and feeling that sense of isolation. And that's not helpful. And that is also not true, even if your brain tries to trick you into thinking that, you're the only one going through this, or, that you have to go it alone, and, whatever the story or the lie is that's being perpetrated. In my opinion, the way that I see it from a kind of multi-dimensional esoteric level, it's almost like there's an agenda at play, and it's like that kind of divide and conquer thing. And I've kind of spoken about how the mind parasites, or the Wetiko energy, can kind of hijack that, and it takes away our creative energy and our drive and desire to really step into our soul's purpose. And more what I am feeling, and why I am called to do what I do and share in the way that I do, and do these crazy live streams and weird and wacky posts, is because I totally feel in the depths of my being and in my heart that we need to encourage each other to be our authentic selves. And what I mean by, you being your authentic self is tuning in and understanding, connecting with who you are and what that gentle whisper is inside. Because a lot of the time we have all this chatter and distraction here, But when we give our space the ability, when we give ourselves the space and the ability to breathe and to tap into what that whisper is, we feel that soul stirring of what we actually want to do, what creates joy and bliss, and what's going to lead us to this successful embodiment of our soul's purpose. And when we step into that, and we also kind of overlay that with our ability to be open to receive connection, like genuine heartfelt connection and support and community, and believe that that is actually possible. Who do you think you are? You write that in, that you are a part of a community, that you are loved and accepted and worthy simply for being you in all of your weird and wonderful ways. Like, that becomes really powerful. And the more I'm kind of tuning into, or what's my big message is, that's what I really want to help remind people of, is I want to help people remember to access their inner wisdom and also to extract their highest potential, because the world needs it. And I don't know if you've noticed, but we're like on this floating rock shooting through space, and it's kind of been hijacked by pirates, right? That don't seem to have the best interests of the planet at heart. And you could say that it's been, hijacked by a bunch of sociopaths or psychopaths. And I kind of feel it's high time that you and I and all the, visionary, radical, kind-hearted, generous, beautiful people in the world take back the reins and the driver's seat. But to do that, we have to kind of defragment that programming, this agenda that has us thinking that we can't do it, or who do you think you are to challenge whatever? And it's like, yeah, fucking reject the system. If you see something that is not in alignment, that is not right, R-I-T-E, that is not in alignment with sacred lore, L-O-R-E, and that is just not kind or caring or generous or not thinking about the future generations, then it's high time that you step up and you do something. And the best thing that you can do is to be yourself fully and unashamedly, and to stop holding back. Stop holding back your magic and your fun and your bliss and your playful energy, and to courageously walk that and embody your truth in such a way that it inspires others to do the same, because we then liberate ourselves from this current experience, which is hijacked. It's hijacked the life force and the vitality out of people. I don't know if you realize, but the suicide rates are skyrocketing, particularly in young men. And also the depression rates are on the rise as well. Anxiety, stress, all through the roof, right? Something is not right. Something is going on. And it's up to us, it's up to you to make those conscious choices to create yourself anew and to go, you know what? Fuck that. That's not what I'm here for. I'm rejecting that experience, and I'm going to do what I can to work with what I've got to change my reality and work within the realities, I guess, to some extent. Like, I'm not going to be here announcing that, if you've got one leg this long and then the other one this long, that you're magically going to have new legs in the morning. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. So it's kind of working within the parameters of what is reasonable, but also pushing the boundaries of what you can expect from yourself when you show up and you do the work and you start to believe that it's possible for you to live a really beautiful and enriching, deep and meaningful life. Yeah. Who do you think you are is who you think you are. You get to choose it. Don't allow those programmings to come in. Mainstream media, all the sensory information that you are bombarded with, protect this space, protect this space. Yeah? Because, what's that? There's a song, I can't even remember the name of the band, but they've got a song that's like, I can ride no bike with no handlebars. And it's like, it talks about, you know, there is a war going on for your mind. Like the battles that we have, like the battles that used to be on the land that was spilling blood, it's all happening internal now. And we're kind of up against some really gnarly energies, and it's really kind of high time that we call ourselves back home, back into the presence of our being, and start looking out for one another. Yeah, and that's what I'm really passionate about sharing and creating spaces for, and to, you know, that's why I share of myself in just a pretty real and raw way. Like what you see is what you get. But I'm also doing the inner work to challenge myself, because I'm curious to hack my reality and to give it a go, you know, like to really challenge my beliefs and expand my perspective and horizons of what is actually possible for me in this lifetime, and to kind of work towards that. Because otherwise, you know, I could totally choose to be complacent and just exist or survive. And I don't want to be in that energy. That's not a very nice energy to being in. And I think that we can all do better, and I feel that it's our birthright to remember that. Yeah. I don't even know how to scroll properly through here. I know that that was like blah, big crazy wild tangent ranting. So I'm just sending you big love. If you are still here, you can expect more of these weird and wonderful wacky transmissions from me, because I feel a fire has been lit in my belly, and it's something that's kind of like this beautiful little ember that's been there for a while, and I've noticed it, and now I'm beginning to feed it, because I feel that whatever I'm tapping into and that is coming through and I'm allowing to speak through me, that's grounded, is serving me in a really beautiful way, and it's changing my life, and it's creating that ripple effect around me. For a long time I didn't step into the truth of who I was, and I hid myself because I had this deep subconscious fear of being misunderstood. And as an artist, I took so much responsibility for the interpretation of my art, rather than kind of coming into completion for what it means to me and then gifting it to the world, knowing that it will live on and be interpreted in so many different ways that I will never ever be able to comprehend, because I am me. I have my experiences. I have an ideology that I grew up with, and, you know, I'm kind of changing, and different subconscious programming and narratives that I'm working with as well. So I see the world in a different way than you would, because we're different. Same, but different, yeah? So that leads me to my very exciting announcement. I get there in a roundabout way. And that is this evening I am launching my Lone Wolf Pack Soul Aligned Mastermind. So this is my first and probably my only membership program, something that I am committing to create this safe space, particularly for the mystical misfits and the, you know, the out there paradigm shifters, like luminous leaders and people that connect with the spiritual, the sacred, the mystical, the magical, the things that you kind of get called a bit of a freak, or who do you think you are type, you know, labels get thrown at us because we see the world a little bit differently, and we believe that we can create positive impacts in the world, and we are bold enough to challenge the current paradigm or the current systems, because on a deep soul level, we know that we're encoded with something that's like, this is not the best that we can do. Like, just because what we're experiencing now, I mean, on like a global context, just because it is what it is, doesn't mean that that's the way that it has to be. And we have the power. The power lays in the hands of the people to be able to create that change. And that's who I serve. And that's what I stand to keep stoking those embers and those fires, like fanning those flames for the people that do connect with it, the people that are genuinely kind and caring and want to create goodness in the world and want to share of themselves in a beautiful, authentic, and deeply enriching way, not only for their own experience, because let's face it, if you're kind of connecting with this, you know that it's like like, you know, it's not even about you. It's not even about us. It's for everybody else. It's like the strength of the whole. And I know what I'm connected to and what's guided me since a little tacker is like the, you know, 7, 15, so on and so forth generations in the future. I want to know that what I do in this lifetime, the energy that I have that courses through my veins and my brain and my body is going to make a difference for those children. And I want them to know that when they listen to the whisper of the winds and they see the trees around them, that someone was thinking about them. Because when you can connect with the spiritual dimensions and that ancestral plane, you can hear the whispers of your grandmothers and your grandfathers that dreamt you into being. And I am kind of taking my place in that grand wheel of time. And I've gotten to the point where I seriously don't give a fuck if people are laughing at me anymore or like, she's gone mad, she's crazy, because there's so much at stake, you know, and there is a big cost when you step into the full expression of your weird and wonderful ways and your magic and your mystery and your creativity and your soul essence. There is a cost. But ultimately, what it gifts to you is your freedom to be. And when you're in that space, you have the emotional resilience. You feel deeply connected to other people. You are more empathic, kind, and caring. You'll speak your voice in the face of injustice. You will speak up for those that have felt that they didn't have a voice, you know, for however long. And that there's a strength that you are connected to that is amplified by a community around you that are all living that same expression as well. And that's what I seek to create with the Lone Wolf Pack Mastermind. And specifically, I want to bring my gifts and my innate talents to be able to create the space for transformational healing and doing the journey work, the shadow work, and how to move through the subconscious and limiting beliefs. Because over the years and kind of bridging science and spirit and psychology and like, you know, kind of physical somatic work as well, it's like what I had come to realize is that every experience that you have had is of value, even if it's painful, right? You can extract the medicine out of that. And there comes a point in time where you will cross paths with someone. And when you have gone through your initiations, you'll be able to offer help and guidance to where it's needed to help, you know, maybe lift somebody up out of a funk, or help, you know, dust them off, and then they can go on their merry way and do what they need to do. And that I do believe in that sense of guardian angels, but that is us, that is you, when you're embodying your truth and you're doing it unashamedly and you really don't care anymore because it's more fun this way. Like, life is way more fun when you test the boundaries and are a bit more radical in your approach to actually living on purpose and living with purpose, rather than just letting life happen to you. And I feel like it's like the collective has, like, we're in the Wizard of Oz and we've like journeyed through the poppy fields, right? Puppies will make you sleep. Like, that's what I see is what happened. And it's like, we've all got to be like, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up. Like, life is worth more than that. And that we can create beauty and we can create conscious communities and collaborations, and we can create, you know, a beautiful kind of closed cycle with respects to our connection to our food and our natural resources, and like all of the like things that seem to be like this utopian ideal. I believe when we tap into the strengths of each individual within the context of the whole, and it came up in my feed today. It's when we reach critical mass, it's like poof, it happens. And the interesting thing, if you research critical mass theory, I don't know who coined the term, but it's around 10% of the population. If you inoculate 10% of the population, so if, if we're at 7 billion, so if you say, okay, yeah, 7.5 million, I think maths is not my strong point, right? So whatever the numbers are, that's how many people that is needed to subscribe to a similar belief that is in alignment with all that is good. And I believe that we're so close. And this is like, we're in this beautiful window and this portal of time where we've got to remind each other not to give up hope, and remind each other that, it's totally possible for us to create this, and that life is way too precious to give up and to let it become corrupt. I'm pregnant with my 4th child, and I feel this so strongly in my body as a very, fertile mother carrying creation within my womb right now. And this voice comes through me quite strong, and it's connected to the primordial mother, yeah? And it's this wisdom that's like, that wake up is like a wake up to shake up. And sometimes it comes with a gentle tickle on the face. Sometimes it's a slap across the cheeks. Sometimes it's a kick up the ass to get you into gear. So you've got to listen, yeah? And what I want to share with you with respect, and I'm kind of going on my wild tangents, is that the lone wolf pack is creating that community of like-minded people. My intention of what I've been holding, and I've been holding it for a while and birthing it this evening, is to create that safe space, to be bold enough, to dream big, and to do the work, to be committed to doing the work, to change your life from the inside out, to feel worthy, to step into your highest potential, to extract it and embody it, to step into the beauty of your being, and also to see it in others and to celebrate others as they will celebrate you. And I feel that that's a big thing that's been missing. And I know for me, being the stereotypical lone wolf, I felt like I've never fit in. I can, adapt to different groups, but I just never really found my place. I was like, I even rock up to the Steiner School and I'm all dressed in black and I'm like, oh, this is so funny. But I am who I am, and I embrace all the, the messiness of it all, and I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not going to hide anymore. And I'm putting that call out to other people that have connected with that lone wolf energy, and specifically women, because that's who I generally work with. But this will open up, this container after a while will open up. I've gone all blurry. Is because of the power of coming together. And one thing that I have transcended and moved through, and this kind of ties it all back in, is that who do you think you are? I get to choose who I am. I get to choose who I connect with. And I also get to choose that I can embody the strengths of that archetypal energy and also connect with others that embody the same. And in that, it creates the pack. And there is actually great strength in coming together, rather than feeling like, you got to be strong enough and resilient enough to go it alone. Those days are over. Yeah. This is the time where we do have to gather together, because when you do come together, the transformational change, like you move through things like this, it amplifies the energy. It means that we reach new heights together. And that's what I am seeding. And I'm curious, and when I tap into it, my whole being just shakes and comes alive, and it's like, wow. I've just planted a beautiful little seed here that will be nurtured by those that feel called to journey with it. That it's, yes, I am the gatekeeper and the custodian of this sacred space, but it is a conscious co-creation and collaborative, engaging community, which does subscribe to that belief that our thoughts create our reality. You get to choose who you are, and you also know that, you know, you got to do that inner work. You actually have to do the work and action things to create that positive change in the world, and that you have complete authority over your being. You have complete permission to be who you've always yearned to be and express and experience. When you tap into that little whisper, when you connect with your heart and you know that life's meant to be different, I'm meant to be doing something, I'm meant for more. Listen to that, yeah? So if this resonates with you, this is my call. I'm going to post the link in the comments. I think I did that correctly. Have a look at it, read through the page. If you have any questions at all, reach out to me. I'm here to communicate. I'm always in. Communication's awesome. And I also want to, you know, just kind of solidify that you're not alone. You're not. Like, that is a lie. Let it wash away and dissolve. Let that shit go. Sending so much love and many blessings. I'll have a scroll through any of the comments, and if I need to respond, I'll type them through. I am so bloody tired. But yeah, as usual, it's always a pleasure to be able to sit on my beautiful antique red couch and open to whatever comes through, because I never know. I just let it come through. That's the beautiful part about simply being, you know. You just got to show up and be you in all your glory, unfiltered, unashamed, and just keep doing it, taking one step forward and aligning with that vision that you have of yourself, and to listen and stay true to it. Mwah.